It's time for another Chaos battle. This time we have Dante from the Devil May Cry series versus Spawn.
Woo! So, I'm defending Spawn since David didn't explain that. But I guess I'll just start my summary. And so if you haven't played the Devil May Cry series, which I recommend, by the way, Dante is the son of Sparta. He is a son of Sparta, son of Eve. I believe it's Eva or Ava, one of the two. So he's a half demon, half human mix, half breed, if you will. So as a young child, just skipping, spoiler for the game. As a child, Dante's house was invaded by demons, who sought revenge to kill Sparta because Sparta was like I would say probably ruler of hell at the time, and they killed his mom and all that stuff. So since then, Dante started his own shop called Devil May Cry, where he is somewhat of like a hitman for hire against any demonic problem. So that's Dante, Noble.
And of course, Spawn. Spawn is, of course, a military soldier who was killed and only wanted to come back for his, at the time, wife. And so he made a deal with the devil to come back. Basically, what had happened is he came back. The devil, of course, played a trick on him, brought him back 5-10 years in the future. His wife had already moved on past him, and of course brought Spawn back as a hell spawn, as a creature, not necessarily human anymore. So, not taking kindly to that, he made it a point to seek out the devil, to kill the devil, because, quite frankly, he didn't appreciate what had happened. And during this time, he's met by one of the archangels and gets drawn into the whole battle of good versus evil. And being a hellspawn, he was supposed to be on the evil side, but he decided to say basically screw you to the devil and join the side of good and right. And that's kind of his backstory. Spawn has a bunch of abilities and a bunch of techniques that he uses. He utilizes his cape, which is its own personality. So his cape will both defend him and attack without his thinking about it. So it reacts instead of just him having to control it. Now, he does have some control over it, but this is also a negative side of it too, because there are times when it'll lash out against an unknown threat that he doesn't want to attack. So, of course, that explains his cape. His cape also allows him to fly. It has a portal to another dimension. He, of course, controls 2 hell chains. Those chains are extremely fast. They've been known to block bullets. They've been known to, of course, act in both the defensive and offensive capability. And on top of all of that, he also has, inhuman strength, extremely high durability, and generally, your basic superhero kit.
So, just for the record, the version of Dante I'm going to be using is I wouldn't say composite because that means Shin Megami Tensei Dante, and we don't want that. So let's just say I'll use David, if you can agree with me here, Dante from Devil May Cry 1 to 4. That would be simpler. So no DMC remake and no Shin Megami Tensei or Marvel vs. Capcom versions of him.
Well, I mean, the Marvel vs. Capcom version is literally up to Devil May Cry 4, isn't it?
I don't know if Capcom confirmed that, but we'll just say no feats from Marvel vs. Capcom, just from Devil May Cry 4, like itself, from that game itself.
Fair enough.
So we're gonna say all weapons that he's had, like I would say composite weapons that are decent, and so that means that he will be able to get weapons that he has given away or only used like once or so. So that being said, would you like me to go first?
Yeah, by all means.
All right, so let me just start off with speed here. So Dante in Devil May Cry 3 was able to dodge lightning. So yeah, I'll send it in the Discord. He was able to dodge lightning from one enemy. So that already proves Dante's at lightning speed right there. And then we can also Dante is excellent marksman. He has 2 guns called Ebony and Ivory, which can literally kill a demon in one shot. Plus, he never has to reload. So there's that. And then I would say for durability, Dante has a slight regen. He can regen from being stabbed through the face. Stabbed to the torso, being attacked. He can regen almost instantly. He also key point, he has a demon side. He has the Devil Trigger. Devil Trigger brings out his demonic powers that he got from Sparta, because he's half demon. It increases his speed, strength, durability, etc., etc., etc. It's a very I would say not really go to, but last resort ability, to where he can just if he wants to finish an opponent quickly, or if he wants to end it fairly easily, he'll be able to do that. I guess I'll talk about some of his weapons. One of his main weapons, besides Ebony and Ivory, is his sword, which is called Rebellion. It was a gift from his father. It was stated that he could swing it at lightning speed, although I'm pretty sure that's just exaggeration. He's able to literally just impale enemies and then just launch them. Like, he has the strength to do that. He's a very aggressive fighter. Plus he has extreme skill with a sword and with firearms. Another thing I want to bring up too is one of his his arsenal of weaponry is insane. So just for the start, I'll only bring up 2. One of them, Dante, before he gave the sword to his brother Virgil, he had Yamamoto. It's a sword that can cut dimensions or space. So I feel like Spawn will have kind of issue with that, because it can cut space. And then he also has a box called the 666 weapon. David, you probably know what that is. It's basically a box that has like 666 weapons, like rocket launchers, like missiles, like et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's so he can use that to his advantage. I think it's called Pandora, I believe. It has a bow gun, Gatling gun, bazooka, laser cannon, mobile missile battery, a shuriken, and all the other stuff. So, yeah, I think that's the start for Dante here. Noble.
Okay, so first I'd like to ask a simple question. Can Dante be killed? Is he mortal?
Yes.
Okay.
He's mortal.
And how has he been known to be killed in the past?
He hasn't really died in the series, but it's a video game, so I would say just by normal means.
Okay.
But killing him would be kind of hard because of his regen.
Okay, so he has regen?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, point blank, Spawn can only be killed by decapitation. If you cannot decapitate him, you cannot kill him. His cape has been known to move at the speed of laser, which is basically speed of light. So it's faster than lightning. Meaning even if Dante can swing his sword at lightning speed, it's still not faster than light. So his cape will not only defend him in that sense, it'll protect him from pretty much anything that Dante can throw at him. Because his pistols that he has, again, his chains have been known to block bullets. No problem. So Dante would have an extremely hard time getting in to do any kind of finishing move. Spawn does not get slowed down by damage. He's been seen with a gaping hole in his chest and still not fazed by it not slowing down. Whereas Dante does slow down as he's injured, correct?
Yes.
So as the battle continues, he'll regen, but it will slow him down, correct?
Let me see, but we'll just say for argument's sake that's true.
Okay. And can Dante be killed by, let's say, impaling through the heart?
I mean, he's been able to regen from being impaled, so I
Through the heart?
not. Let me see.
Or how about impaled through the head?
DMC4, he was basically impaled through the heart and the opening sequence by
So he
Nero.
survives impaled through the heart?
Pretty much.
Okay. How about impaled through the head?
Not anything that's been shown, no.
How about decapitation?
No.
Okay. What kind of defensive feats does he have as far as blocking and protection?
Okay, I'll pull that out right now. So actually, and I found a feat for it too. Even at its limit, his regen never slows down. So I mean, he can still put up a decent amount of fight right here.
Okay.
So his defensive. Okay. So I guess I'll start with let's see. Let's go to durability here. So durability wise, he's walked around with multiple sights into him.
Well, that's his ability to tank. That's ability to take damage and keep moving. I'm talking defensive. Like, what does he use for a defense? Does he have a shield of some kind?
Oh no. So he sometimes uses a sword for defense, but not like.
So he's a very offensive attacker.
Yeah,
correct?
he's very offensive.
Where Spawn is both offensive and defensive, meaning Spawn can not only react without having to think, almost like your Ultra Instinct there.
Yeah.
Spawn can not only defend himself, he's also offensive with both chains, meaning if Dante has no defense, there's no reason Spawn can't take his head off with the chain. It's been seen in the past where he's decapitated many foes with this chain, including but not limited to. Okay, he's killed Melibolgia. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. With decapitation with the chains, and he has also killed Satan with his chains with decapitation. So he's killed 2 people with decapitation with his chains. And those are both heavy hitters. Has Dante ever killed Satan or the devil?
I mean, if you count,
has he killed him, or did he lose that fight?
He killed. What's his guy's name?
The equivalent of Satan, devil.
Yeah, and Devil May Cry. Not Mundus. He killed Mundus. Who's like you can count as.
Was it a barely got him killed, or was it a?
It was a. I would say, David, you can vouch for me here. I think it was.
Moderate difficulty?
Yeah, I guess moderate.
Yeah, somewhere around
there. As far as bosses go.
So as far as scaling goes here, because we're going to utilize scaling for this, David, do you have any rulings here or anything that you'd like as far as offensive, defensive capabilities?
I really don't give a shit. I want to see these two go at it.
So, are you done with your turn? Are you good?
Well, I'd like to hear what David has to say as far as, have we established who has the definite dominant upper hand here?
I mean, weapon-wise, Dante has quite a bit more in his arsenal, but with him being
would any of them get through Spawn's defenses? That's the question.
Yamamoto.
Yeah, possibly the box, because of the
but
sheer
wouldn't he have to have access
unpredictability.
to the box there? Like, is the box just an item that he has to go to, or is it something he carries with him?
No, he has all his weapons carried with him.
Okay.
And just for sake of argument's sake, we can say he has all his weapons. Because in the games, you can switch between.
Yeah, it's just a click of the D-pad, or whatever equivalent.
I would say,
because I mean, if he can get through the defenses, then it's over.
Because I would say the biggest thing I feel like Spawn would have issues with is Yamamoto, because it can cut space, and cutting space basically ignores durability. Like I'll show you like cutting spaces, like basically like cutting a.
But
dimension.
can it cut through void? That's the question.
Yes, is the void a dimension?
It's a separate dimension.
Yeah,
entirely.
yeah, it can cut. Yeah, it can cut. The Yamamoto can cut dimensions.
I want to see that scan, by the way.
The cutting through space is basically cutting through dimensions.
No, it's not. There's a difference.
Yeah.
David, will you back me up on that? There's a difference.
There is a very big difference there. But the biggest one for me would be the unpredictability of the box, considering how many weapons are in it. Yamamoto,
so it's a random crapshoot then, correct?
It's let's just put it this way: it can go from rocket launcher to bowgun to fucking 6-barrel grenade launcher to all sorts of other wacky bullshit.
So basically, the chances of him getting that Yamamoto is very slim, correct?
The Yamamoto blade is standard equipment until he actually handed it off to Virgil.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's standard. So I mean, he'll have
Because the
that by
question
default.
would be, if the Yamamoto blade can cut through Spawn's cape and through another dimension, then it's game. I'll have to give it to him. But if it can't, or
I'm looking
if
at it
it's
right
not
now.
something that he has standard ready to go, then I would say Spawn can easily take him, because Spawn's going to be an offensive without having to react defensive skills.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
So
Dante has no defensive skills or no defensive setup.
I mean,
for the most part.
I mean, he still has his one defensive skill. I will say is Quicksilver, which can slow down time to almost complete halt.
Spawn can actually pause time completely, and there is a scam for that.
This one is a very, very close one.
David, I'd like you to go ahead and make a ruling with the information at hand.
With the information at hand, I want to see that scan of it actually cutting through the void, as Thurman put it. But other than that,
because it's been stated to cut anything, but that whole cut anything thing. But it's been stated to be able to cut space, and cutting space usually means cutting through like dimensions. And I'll show like a scan of the power itself. Of not like, but of like a definition of like space time slicing.
If it's cutting space in game, then I'm going to say it's cutting space. I'm not going to consider that cutting through the void, simply because.
Well, cutting space is similar to cutting a dimension, because a dimension is technically like space.
Do you have that scan for him? Because if he sees that scan, then we'll call it right here.
Yeah, I mean, I need to see. I saw it somewhere where Dante actually used a Yamamoto blade, and it was like he actually cut. Sent Slash to like a stone pillar of something. I'm trying to remember where I saw it from. I have to look. I think that's what it is right there. Yeah,
if it can cut through the void, Spawn's done.
Hang on, I'm pulling up the video right now for it.
Things that make
And somebody's shitty YouTube opening.
Yeah,
clearly we can
you can do that, and then it actually
okay, so it just cuts from a distance. That's not cutting through void or space.
No, but it's been
no. That's just a distance slash.
Here.
Okay.
Actually, here, let me bring up Yamamoto's.
I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Here.
Hang on.
In the actual game description, it says it can cut through dimensional barriers.
Yeah.
Discord.
Yep. 1 second.
And you tell me if you think that can go through his virtually impenetrable cape, which again can send things to other dimensions.
Here is the actual lore behind the blade.
Yeah, it said that it can cut through dimensional barriers. That's what it says in the stash dimension description.
So it was used to seal a pathway to a gate. That's sounds like a very specific ability. Let me look down a little bit further. Movesets. We're looking for. Hang on.
The feat you are referring to here, Thurman, was utilized by Virgil. Virgil utilizes an ability called Judgment Cut, in which he swings so fast that Yamato doesn't appear to even leave its sheath. It creates a distortion in space.
And it's not the sword itself; it's his feet. So
No.
it's someone else's feet, correct?
No. Here, let me find it. No, but that's just the way.
It sounds like it's Virgil's ability that did that, and
that's the
not
way-
the sword itself.
That's the way Virgil uses the sword, but the sword actually does cut through. Let's see. I need to find the actual
You just said
description-
that video I sent was the.
description of the. But the actual description that says in the source.
David, how are we feeling on this?
As of right now, I am giving it to Spawn simply because the cape ability being the ultimate defense.
Yeah, see right here, the sword is said to be able to cut anything, even through the very fabric of space itself.
It's said to be able to, but has it actually done it?
Well, I mean, the sword was used to separate our worlds from the. I mean, there's multiple claims saying that it can. it's coming from multiple sources saying that it can.
And also, as when the user is weakened, the sword's ability to cut through anything also fades.
See, it's the way the feat and the ability itself is. It's a one-shot.
Wait, because so Dante this image is the slash dimension.
But again, that's an ability, not an actual weapon. That's a person's ability, which again was done by Virgil and not by Dante.
But Dante does his own version of the ability though.
Dante attempts to imitate,
and the result is a similar ability called Slash Demon, but it lacks
precision and potency.
But still, the effect still stays the same.
And if he misses with that, it's a one-shot. So the difficult bit of this is
cape has not been tricked as of yet. His cape has been able to protect him, again, without his thought.
Exactly. So theoretically, it could just poof.
It could move him out of the way too.
Exactly.
In the same breath.
So,
and it's not something that Dante can continually do, from what it looks like.
No, but he's done it multiple times though. In the cutscene, you saw him to slash it like multiple times.
Okay, so he's done it multiple times, but for how long can he sustain that while Spawn is continually moving?
Well, I mean,
again, I'm just saying.
If the cape itself is beatified, doesn't mean Spawn. It doesn't mean just the cape.
Spawn is connected to the cape.
No, but I'm saying though that means that
Spawn doesn't have to do it. Spawn can still be attacking you with the chains while also defending. That's the thing.
But I mean,
he's both offensive and defensive.
The thing is though is that
you're left completely unguarded when you do that. So if you miss the first shot, Spawn can take off your head while you're preparing to do your second shot.
But I mean, the cape itself. I don't know,
David.
Etha of the Seventh King she's telling a part of Dante, but Spawn himself still has to move.
And again, if it doesn't take off his head, that's the only thing that matters. You can cut off Spawn's arm; he's still going to be hitting you with his chains because he doesn't do that with his hands. His chains are mental.
But I mean, he's
not going to die. He just regenerates just like that.
But I mean, if Dante, since the slashes are still, he could do it from long range anyway. He still has the advantage.
And the chain is also very long range as well.
But I mean, can the chains survive being cut through? Because
the chains are unbreakable.
Cutting space is ignores durability.
Correct.
Right. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's how I see this battle going down. I see Dante utilizing that crapshoot ability because of his arrogance, and he is an arrogant prick, just to try to one-shot Spawn, missing Spawn, lopping off Dante's head as he's teleporting away with the cape. That's how I see this actually going down, because
he might even land a hit on Spawn, but he won't take off his head.
Exactly, because the way that Dante fights.
My thing is this. Because first things first is that are the chains, because he said Ether was speed of light. Have the chains themselves reacted to light, or just Ether herself, like the cape itself?
Both have. Both are at that speed. Both the cape and the chains.
Because I'll need
blocking. They're easily bullet speed without any effort, and the cape is easily laser speed without any effort. I can prove that for sure in scans.
Because I'll need.
And besides, the cape is the only thing that needs to be light speed to block any kind of moves. And even then, that move is not a light speed move, as clearly demonstrated by the video.
Because I mean, but cutting space isn't really like a more so.
The cut still has to travel through. As you saw, it took time for that cut to actually travel there. There was time in between. And David
plus, I mean, since it's cutting space, Spawn won't be able to see that. Can he dodge something he can't see?
Of course, his cape has ESP, and I have a scan for that as well.
But can it sense space? Like actual?
It can sense danger coming towards him.
It's essentially spider sense, Thurman.
To some degree, it's not as potent, but it's still pretty darn.
That's the closest thing to compare it to here. But like I said, I see Dante getting overly cocky, going for the crapshoot one-shot move, and then getting decapitated in the process because Spawn's cape reacts to that move
And like I said, he may even tag Spawn, but he won't kill Spawn.
Well, so what? So if we're going like full bloodlust type thing, then
he won't have a chance to get bloodlusted. That's the thing is Dante has no defense.
My thing is Dante would go straight to double trigger as well.
Okay, but Thurman, he has no defense. He would get cut down while he's doing his double trigger or whatever it is.
No, but double trigger is instant though. It's
how instant is it? Like speed of light? Because I don't think it's speed of light.
No, but I mean, from this, is it like instant activation? Because instant is just like instantaneous.
Okay,
like,
that's cool. He can instantly do it while his head's rolling. That's cool.
Because instant is like take instant transmission for example.
It still takes a moment to happen, and that's been proved in Dragon Ball Super, so you can't even use that.
The issue here is, Thurman, if they're going bloodlust, it's Spawn fucking fodderizes Dante.
Like I said, Thurman, this one, I hate to say it, but
this
Dante
is your L.
Powers, he might tag Spawn, but he's not going to kill him.
He can lop off an arm, he can lop off a leg, he can lop off, half of Spawn's body. He's still going to lose to him here.
So he may score a tag out of there.
The issue is the lack of defense on Dante's part.
Exactly my point, because Dante really has no defensive capabilities, where Spawn's cape is not only defensive, it acts on its own. Honestly, it's like Dante's fighting two different people, his cape and him.
That's essentially it. The only defense I've ever seen Dante utilize, and I have played the entirety of the series, is blocking with the sword.
But he can't do that if he's swinging it.
Exactly. He clearly cannot be defending against the entity of the chain, the entity of the little cape, and Spawn himself.
Cape can also lash out if it chooses to.
That's the downfall to this one.
All right, then I'll concede then.
All right.
And there we have it. Spawn takes it, not by a lot, but by enough.
So, R.I.P. Dante, and thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace.